Arthur Nofi Fitness here, and today we're jumping into the ice-cold plunges, what they do for recovery, and when they quietly tax your gains. Cold water immersion is everywhere right now. It looks hardcore, it feels like discipline, and it gives you that lightning bolt wake-up that coffee can't fake. But if your North Star is muscle, timing is everything. Cold can be your friend, or it can be the guy who turns down the volume on growth. No fee, no BS, just gains. Let's start with why cold feels so good after a brutal session. Heavy training is controlled damage. You leave the gym with heat, swelling, and a nervous system that's still buzzing. Drop into cold water and the body clamps down. Vessels constrict, inflammation markers dip, pain signals quiet, and your brain gets a clean hit of "I can breathe again." That's why your soreness often feels lower and your head feels clearer. The trap is confusing "I feel better right now" with "I will adapt better later." Those aren't the same outcome. Recovery is not just the absence of soreness. Recovery is how well you super-compensate, how much stronger, bigger, and more durable you become from the same stress next time. Hypertrophy relies on a loud signal. Tension plus fatigue drive local inflammation, anabolic signaling, and protein synthesis. When you immediately slam that system with cold, you turn down some of the noise that your body needs to hear to build new tissue. It's like whispering at a rock concert. You can still talk, but the message gets lost. So if the goal is maximal muscle growth, post-lift plunges are the worst timing. You'll feel fresh faster, but you pay by muting part of the adaptive machinery that makes you bigger. That doesn't mean cold is evil. It means you use it like a scalpel, not a hammer. So when is cold your ally? Non-lifting days are prime real estate. That's where cold gives you nervous system calm, better perceived recovery, and a nice mood lift without stepping on your hypertrophy signal. Another smart window is far away from your lift, separate by hours, not minutes. If you train at noon, an evening dip can be fine. If you train at night, save cold for the next morning. The body needs time to run its post-training chemistry set. Let it cook before you chill it. There's also a case for cold if your priority is not size but performance in the next session. Tournament weekend, brutal double-day camps, travel weeks where you need to feel ready. Tomorrow cold can help you turn down residual soreness and show up more functional. You might give up a sliver of long-term adaptation for a short-term bump in how you feel and move. That's a trade you make on purpose, not by accident. What about the rest of your health? Cold has a wellness halo because it reliably changes how you feel. The drop in perceived stress, the alertness, the "I did a hard thing" effect, these are real experiences. And for many people, they're reasons enough. Some folks report better sleep when they dip earlier in the day, and others use a brief cold exposure as a caffeine-free morning trigger. The key word is brief. You're not training to be a polar bear. You're using a tool to nudge physiology and psychology without robbing your training goals. Okay, brass tacks, temperatures and times. You don't need to play hero. Somewhere around 10 to 15 degrees Celsius is the sweet spot for most people. Colder than that isn't more productive, it's just more miserable and for some, riskier. 2 to 3 minutes is a solid single exposure. Total daily cold time doesn't have to exceed 10 to 12 minutes to get the effect you're chasing. If you're new, start warmer, start shorter, and build your tolerance. The goal is calm control, not shaking like a phone on vibrate. Breathe slow through the nose, keep your upper body relaxed, and treat it like meditation with teeth. If you love sauna and contrast work, here's a simple rule. Put the cold away from your lift and finish warm if you're winding down at night. Hot-cold circuits can be a vibe and can help you feel less beat up, but they also add stress if you stack them on top of hard training with poor sleep. Recovery is a budget, spend it like an adult. A word on fat loss, because someone always asks if cold can boost metabolism. Cold exposure does make the body do thermic work. You'll burn some extra calories shivering your way back to baseline. But it's not a magic furnace. If you want a clean, sustainable edge for a cut, focus on steps, protein, and actual training quality. Use cold as a behavioral anchor. I dip at 8, I walk at 9, not as a caloric strategy. The physique change you want will come from what you can repeat, not from a 3-minute shock to the system. Now let's talk about who benefits most from cold and who should tread carefully. If you're in a high-stress block, work stress, life stress, sleep debt, and you keep showing up to the gym wired and tired, a cold immersion away from training might be exactly the downshift your nervous system needs. You'll feel more capable, less reactive, and more willing to train again tomorrow. If you're the opposite, sleeping well, eating well, lifting hard with great momentum, there's no reason to mess with a winning signal right after you train. Save the plunge for an off day and keep your growth pathway loud and clear. If you're using cold for joints that feel hot and angry, be precise. Cold can blunt perceived pain and calm swelling, but it won't fix the mechanics that pissed off the joint. Use the relief to move better and address the cause, not to pile more sloppy volume onto a problem. There's also a common mistake: mixing novelty with intensity. A first-timer goes from 0 to full send in near freezing water and comes out with a headache and a blood pressure spike. Ease in. Respect your physiology. You're not less tough because you chose 10 degrees instead of 5. Let me draw a clean line you can use next week. If muscle growth is the main goal, do not plunge immediately after lifting. Keep cold for rest days or many hours later. If you're in a sport block where you need to feel good again tomorrow, cold can be part of your toolkit, but you're choosing readiness over the absolute peak of adaptation, and that's okay for short stretches. Aim for that 10 to 15 degree range, stay in for a controlled 2 to 3 minutes a shot, and cap your total around 10 to 12 minutes when you do it. Breathe, relax, get out, warm up gradually, and move on with your day. What about the mental game? Cold rewards presence. The water doesn't care about your notifications or your to-do list. That minute or 3 is a forced focus drill, and plenty of lifters find it makes them more deliberate in training and calmer outside of it. If that's you, protect it, but don't let the ritual crowd out your actual training. No one got jacked because they stared at cold water courageously. They got jacked because they lifted with intent, ate like they meant it, slept on purpose, and then used cold in the margins. Is cold plunge overhyped or real? It's both. Overhyped when it's sold as a muscle builder, a fix-all, or an identity. Real when you use it to sharpen how you feel, to lower perceived soreness on your off days, to steady your head in a stressful week, or to prioritize readiness for a short competitive window. The more you respect the context, the more value you get. 2 quick cautions because I want you around to lift another day. If you've got blood pressure issues, cardiovascular risk, Raynaud's, neuropathy, or you're pregnant, talk to a professional before you start playing with serious cold. Don't dunk your head and hold your breath like a movie scene. Stay present and breathe. If you come out lightheaded or numb, you overdid it. Shorten, warm it up a bit, and build gradually. The goal is repeatable wins, not war stories. Here's how this actually looks in a lifter's week. Train hard, keep your post-lift window warm and boring, protein steps, maybe a sauna on a separate day if you love it. Use cold on rest days to reset your brain and body, or at the opposite end of the day from your lift when you want that chill out feeling. If you're cutting, rucking, and steps, do the metabolic heavy lifting. Cold keeps you mentally sharp and less achy without stealing the muscle signal. If you're peaking for a meet or a tough block where back-to-back performance matters, cold can be the bridge between efforts. Just don't pretend it's helping you grow at the same time. Pick the outcome you care about and let the method serve that outcome. In the end, cold is a tool, not a trophy. Use it to feel better when it won't cost you. Keep it away from the training you want to adapt to. And remember why you're here in the first place: to get stronger, build muscle, and live in a body that does what you ask of it. The ice bath is not the main event, your training is. Build the big rocks first, then season with cold where it actually adds flavor. No fee, no BS, just gains.